the most important question, that is, what is research design? Let me tell you, basically, these are certain methods and the techniques, we can say the research methods or the methodology or the techniques or the tools which are chosen by the researcher to solve the research problem, right? It is just like, the blueprint of your house. You want to construct a house and you are having a blueprint for the same. You want to buy a new car, or you are having a blueprint of the same. So research design is the blueprint of your research, like what, when, where, and what is the route map, how you're going to proceed ahead with the methodology part, and what kind of tools or the techniques you are going to use. So that is the research design, right? So basically, when we are having a research design, it will help you to hone in various research methods, and those research methods which are suitable for the subject matter, and specifically set up their studies for the success. So if research design is there, definitely you will end up with some kind of, the feasible results in your hand, and you can move very smoothly in your research work. Otherwise, it is just like you want to construct your house and you don't have a layout or outline, or you don't have any blueprint, like from where to start, where to end, what thing is going to be where. So if you are not having any research design, that means you can't proceed ahead with your research process. So process of research, that I would say, how it happens, what you need to know when you are into a research. First, you should have a problem, like you need to decide the area of your choice. Like some people, they want to work on the pollution, they want to work on the, the food industry or the food processing. So in the area of your specialization, in the area, like you are from botany, zoology, you are from, the management, you are from the commerce, likewise you are from the pharmaceutical sciences. So accordingly, you need to decide what you want to do, like on the basis of your interest, or on the basis of your, the academic position, or you can say in which area you are very strong. So you need to identify your strength, and likewise you need to identify your interest, and you have to start with a one problem or a one question. Then you need to decide the goals and objective. Suppose if I say you want to work upon the pharmaceutical pollution, the impact of the pharmaceutical pollution on the quality of the river water. So that is your question, that is your problem, right? Now you need to narrow down your research. You need to narrow down your research to a one specific area. Suppose if I say I want to work on the impact of the pharmaceutical effluents in district Baddi, or into some other, in the district Solan. So I need to narrow down my research. So I am having one thing in my mind. I want to work upon the pharmaceutical industries only. Then I will select one area, like this is the area where there is a hub of the pharmaceutical industries, and they are carrying a very negative impact on the environment. So what kind of research I am doing, it should be beneficial for the society. Only then it matters, right? Then I need to set my goals and the objectives, like what I am going to study under my problem. Like I want to check the, the physical parameters, or the chemical parameters, or the biological parameters. I want to go for the process of the bioremediation. So likewise, I need to decide what are my goals and the objectives. So accordingly, once I have decided, see, I want to check the physical parameters. So accordingly, I will decide these are the methods which I'm going to use, like to check the pH or the temperature, the other parameters. So then I will be having the tools and the techniques for the same. And when the experimentation is over, I will be having the results with myself. So once the results are with me, that is not the, the final success of the research. See, the results are with me, but after that, I have to go for the interpretation and the analysis of the data. So only then I would be able to go for a very nice report writing, right? So this is the process of the research. You start with the research problem. You need to set the goals and the objective. Then accordingly, you decide your research design, like the methods or the techniques which you are going to apply. Then you will be having the results with yourself. Like if it is a field work, you are into a survey. Again, you will be getting the information, and finally interpretation and the analysis of the data. So you can see this, the research process over here. It is in the form of a flow chart. So yes, there is a research problem. You can see over here. First, you need to define your research problem. Then you need to review the literature. Once you want to study, you need to review what others have studied. Like it is a research, like you are searching the same thing again and again, but you are looking at that one thing with a different perspective, and you will be coming out with the different kind of the results. Fine. So you need to have that research problem, but for that you need to study the review of the literature. And once you will study the review of the literature, you would be able to find out the gaps. And those gaps in the study of the previous researchers, those gaps are the basis of your research. And after that, you need to formulate the hypothesis. See, problem is a very big thing. If I say I want to study on the pharmaceutical effluents, so I can't study the impact of the pharmaceutical effluents in India, right? In India. So accordingly, I need to narrow down my research. I need to go for the comparison, like before the pharmaceutical effluent, what kind of the water quality was there, and after the introduction, how much pollution is there in the river water, right? So I need to formulate one hypothesis so that I can get into the comparison and I can justify, see, these are the impact of the pharmaceutical effluent. I'm just citing it as a one example. Then after formulation, then you need to design the research. Like here, you need to decide if you're into experimentation, then you need to decide the kind of methods you are going to adopt. If you are into a field, into a survey method or into the interviews, so accordingly, you need to decide your, the way, or you need to decide your sample area, right? Then you are having the data collection, that is the execution part is there. Then after data, you have to analyze that data. Okay. So here, while we analyze the data, here we go for, the hypothesis testing, which we say whether it's a null hypothesis or the alternate hypothesis. So here we have to analyze our data. And after the data analysis, we have to interpret our data. And after the interpretation, we have to go for the report writing. So if the researchers, they are doing like they're writing their reports, like before the results are there, before the analysis or before any kind of interpretation, trust me, they are not going to, come up with a good kind of research work, and they have to change, because once we are having the analysis of the data, then only we would be able to write it perfectly. And this is what happens when you write a research paper, as our previous speaker said. While writing a research paper, the kind of things like you have to maintain the quality. So once you are into this report writing or into a dissertation or thesis, any kind of, the research you are doing in your laboratory or into the field, right? So you need to present in a very, effective way. And that depends upon the interpretation of the data and the analysis of the data. So research design, that plays very significant role. If you have chosen a wrong method or wrong techniques, then you wouldn't be able to get the correct information, right? So if any stage, if you feel like, you can say during the analysis of the data, you feel like the results, they are not good or something is wrong, that can be due to environmental factor, that can be human error, or the equipment error can be there, that which was not perfectly, the calibrated, or during the collection of the data. So anything may happen. So again, you need to get back and to see like whether you have chosen the right method or not, or you accordingly, you can change your methodology, right? So that you can get the effective results. Likewise, if you feel like after, the analysis, while you are interpreting the things, and you feel like interpretation is not leading somewhere, right? You're not getting, the results which you expected. See, when we formulate hypotheses, this is just an educated guess, like what would happen, under certain circumstances. So during the formulation of the hypothesis, I know this is going to happen, or the kind of results I'm expecting over there. But anyhow, during the interpretation, if I'm not getting those results, then trust me, I will get back to the research problem. Maybe I didn't choose the right, the research problem, or I didn't define it in a proper way. So again, I have to formulate the hypothesis, right? I hope this process, this is very much important. If